for almost like 3 or 4 about baby. Amit is getting echo. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Is it getting echo?
Yes.
Fine. Okay. Okay. So far we have seen the wave equations mostly. Okay. Also we have seen the derivation of heat equation as well as conservation laws, and that we can see that like Navier-Stokes equations, etc. We have seen. So in all the cases, almost like either it is Navier-Stokes equation or wave equation or heat equation. Okay, this is heat equation. This is wave equation. So let's put 0 here. Okay, and if you write the Navier-Stokes equation also, there will be a term called like UXX will become. So if you go for a higher dimensional, you will get something like ut minus del u equal to 0 in the heat equation, utt minus del u equal to 0 in the wave equation. Similarly, del u term will be or del p term will be occurring at least in the wave equation. Now, what we are trying to do is that suppose suppose u is independent of t. Okay, then what will become ut is 0, utt is 0. Okay, and similarly, like if you want to solve some of the problems in the Navier-Stokes equation, you may need to solve an equation called pressure-Poisson equation or kind of. So del U equal to F. Okay, this is called pressure-Poisson equation or del P equal to F. We say, okay, or del P equal to 0. So if F is equal to 0, this is called Laplace equation. If F is not equal to 0, then that is called Poisson equation. Now, what we are trying to do in this class is that we are trying to do a problem like del P equal to 0 or del U equal to 0. Okay, this problem, this is called Laplace equation. So this problem we are trying to solve, and then we will just add some F also on the right hand side, and then we will try to solve that problem. So that's the fundamental idea for this problem. Once again, what we are going to do here is that we cannot solve this, so we'll straight away jump into n-dimensional equation. We'll not stick to 1 or 2. We'll straight away jump into n-dimensional equation. Okay. So here what we are going to do is that again the same setting. Okay, you are sitting in R power n. Okay, you are sitting in R power n. Now, what is the fundamental idea of solving this partial differential equation? That either you go to some different settings and solve it, or convert that problem into one-dimensional problem. Okay, mostly like one-dimensional problem means like you convert it into, so you cannot solve it PDE over here. So what you used to do is that you convert that into corresponding ODE, okay, or system of ODE, and then used to solve that. The same thing we are going to do here. So what we are going to do is that again the same set of what we did in the wave equation, same kind of setup is we are going to do. So we have a R power n. Okay, so in R power n, what we are going to do is that we are going to take a function. Okay, this is going to be, the solution is going to be u of x. Okay, so now what we are going to do is that we are going to take a radial solution. So radial solution means we are going to take v of r. V of r I am going to take. Okay, because the Laplace equation is invariant under rotation. So you can just prove that Laplace equation is invariant under rotations. Okay, that is exercise. Then what we are trying to do is that we are trying to find the radial solution for them, where r is nothing but summation xi square root. Okay, this is nothing but my this is nothing but my r, which is nothing but the radial. Means like we are taking the if x is given, I am just taking the distance between r 0 and x. Okay, that is nothing but my r. That is r I am taking. Okay, and the n-dimensional case. So we are going to see whether this V is going to give us the solution. Okay, that we are trying to see. Let's see. So this we have already seen. So r is nothing but, this is nothing but mod x. Okay, means the distance between origin and the point x. Okay, so x is nothing but this x is belongs to r power n. Okay, so that is nothing but by r. Now x is not equal to 0. Okay, so then what we have already derived this. We have discussed this in the case of wave equation also. So dou r by dou xi is nothing but 1 by square root of sigma xi square. Okay, into 2 times xi will come. So that is nothing but xi by r. Xi by r. Okay, so that is nothing but dou r by dou xi. Now uxi, what is uxi? Uxi is nothing but dou u by dou xi. Okay, dou u by dou xi. That is dou u by dou xi. If I write it in terms of p of r, that is going to become like, so this is going to become like dou u by dou xi. I can write it because u is a constant of u of x is nothing but p of r. So just we are trying to write using the change of variables, etc. So dou v by dou r is nothing but dou v by dou x is nothing but dou v by dou r into dou r by dou x. So that is nothing but dou v by dou r into dou r by dou x is xi by r. But b is only function of r, therefore I can write it as b dash of r into xi by r. Okay. Now the same thing. Now for this one, dou square r by dou x square. So dou square r by dou x square is nothing but dou by dou xi of dou r by dou xi. Okay. So dou by dou xi of dou r by dou xi. So that dou r by dou xi I know. Dou r by dou xi is nothing but xi by r. So if I just substitute that again, xi by r. So what you are going to get? You are going to get that expression xi by r. So again use the u by v rule. So you are going to get r square r minus xi into dou r by dou xi is going to come. Okay, dou r by dou xi, that is xi square by r square. Okay, so therefore we are going to get that xi square by r cube is going xi square by r. So we are going to get, if I just multiply this r here, what I am going to get, I am going to get 1 by r. Okay, 1 by r xi square by r cube. 1 by r xi square by r cube. Now again same thing. Okay, so this is done. Now if you go for u xi xi, okay, u xi xi, that is nothing but dou square u by dou xi square. So I can write it as dou by dou xi of dou u by dou xi. Okay, so dou u by dou xi again I got to write it as, okay, dou u by dou xi is nothing but dou u by dou r into dou u by dou xi, dou by dou xi of dou v by dou r into dou r by dou xi. Okay, now I'm just going to throw that derivative inside. Okay, so that means like dou v by dou xi is going to become like dou by dou xi of, so chain rule, so dou by dou xi of dou v by dou r into dou r by dou xi plus dou v by dou r into dou square r by dou xi square. Okay, again I got to dou by dou xi of dou v by dou r is there. So again I got to use one more time the rule. So this is going to become like p dash of r. Okay, so this one I can write it as so this one I'm just writing it as dou by dou r. Okay, dou by dou r of dou v by dou r into dou r by dou xi whole square. Okay, plus dou v by dou r into dou square r by dou xi square. Okay, so I can substitute what is my dou v by dou r. So dou v by dou r is, I know, like let's do it by okay, dou v by dou r is nothing but v dash of r. Therefore this is nothing but p double dash of r. Okay, this is p double dash of r, and I know what is dou r by dou xi. Dou r by dou xi is xi, so xi square by r square plus dou v by dou r, that is nothing but v dash of r because it is just a function of r, and dou square r by dou x square is nothing but 1 by r minus xi square by r cube. Okay, so these are the things we thought. Okay, now we just simplify this further. Okay, so if we simplify this further, what we will get is that we are going to get these things. So what you are going to get is that you are going to get okay, so this is done. Now what we have du, if we just substitute du, so we already know that dou u by dou xi is nothing but xi by r. Okay, so therefore if I just put du is nothing but ux1, ux2, etc., uxn. So this is nothing but I can write it as x1, x2, etc. xn by r. Okay, so that I can write as x by r. Okay, x by r. So ux1, so there is a v dash is also there, v dash into x1, x2, xn are there because uxi is nothing but v dash of r into xi by r. Okay, so therefore you will get v dash into x by r. Okay, v dash into x by r. Now, what is del u? So we have that expression here. Del u is nothing but summation u xi. Okay, I equal to 1 by n. So this is nothing but if I just substitute it here, this is going to become like v double dash. So I just sum it up. Okay, summation xi square by r square plus v dash of r into summation summation 1 by r minus summation summation xi square by r cube. Okay, so this is nothing but v double dash of r. Okay, summation xi square. So what is that? What we are going to get is that xi square by r square. What is it going to come? So if I just sum it up, r square is constant, so I just take it out. So x1 square, x2 square, etc. is going to come. That is also r square. Therefore, you are going to get 20 v dash of r plus v dash of r into. So if I just take 1 by r outside, this is going to become like n. Okay, and if I take 1 by r cube outside, this is going to become like r square. So that is going to become like this is n by r, and this is going to be minus 1 by r is going to come. So minus 1 by r. So this one we have seen already. Okay, this del u equal to this one we have already seen once we are trying to derive for the Turbox equation. Okay, almost the same thing we are going to repeat again and again. Okay, so the Turbox equation which we have seen while deriving that we have used this one. Now what we have is that we have this condition del u equal to 0. Okay, del u equal to 0. That means you see the beauty of this one. Like I just started with the n-dimensional equation, n-dimensional problem. I used the radial solution. Means I used this r. Okay, using the r, what I obtained is that instead of solving in the n-dimensional equation, I just converted it into a one-dimensional problem. Okay, v double dash of r. What I obtained is that v double dash of r plus v dash of r into n minus 1 by r equal to 0. Because del u equal to 0 in Laplace equation, therefore it is going to become 0. Now this is a second order ordinary differential equation. Okay, second order ordinary differential equation. Now what we are going to do, we are going to solve this one. So what is the solution of this one? So I can just put v double dash equal to 1 minus n by r into v dash. Okay, so I can just bring this over here, v dash. Okay, this is going to be over there. So this is nothing but, so if I just substitute some v dash equal to some other variable, then what you get is that we are going to get this one as log of v dash. Okay, log of v dash equal to 1 minus n into log r. Okay, plus some constant is going to come. Okay, so I'm just keeping that constant as something. Okay, so then what I can write is that I can write this as v dash equal to some other constant. Okay, so this c I just put log on both sides. What I going to get is that some other constant log r into 1 minus n is going to come. So I'm just going to write this log r n minus 1. Okay, so r power 1 minus n will come. So I'm just writing that a by r power n. This is some constant. Okay, so c you can just put some constant. So this is nothing but my v dash. Okay, now v dash is a by r power n minus 1. Therefore, what is v? What is v? So there are two cases you got to split here. One is n equal to 2. Okay, another is n is greater than or equal to 3, or n is greater than 2. When n equal to 2, what is going to happen? This is nothing but a by r. Okay, if a by r, what is the solution? If a by r, if v dash equal to a by r, what is the solution? V. Sorry, am I not audible or what? One sec, let me check.
Yes, sir. Sorry.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, what is the solution? If n equal to 2, what will be the solution?
So log r.
Log r, okay. So not log r plus something is going
yes.
to come. A log r plus some constant is going to come. Okay. Now if n is greater than or equal to 3, what is the answer? It's going to become like a into
Minus
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 n
1
plus
raised to
r2 power minus n plus 2 upon
Okay, a by r power n minus 2 I can write it. Okay, 1 is going to reduce and then n minus 1 is going to come. Okay, n minus 1 is going to come. So something is going to come. I'm just putting some constant. Okay, a and I'm going to. Okay, plus some c is going to come. Now I'm going to replace this as something different. So I'm just going to put something like b log r plus c and p by r power n minus 1 2 plus some constant is going to come. So n equal to 2 and n greater than or equal to 3. Okay, so this I'm just going to keep. Okay, so that means so the original problem how we solve the original problem is going to come like this way. So we are going to put it like we solved already for the one dimensional case. So what we are going to get is that I'm just going to write it as in terms of r we have written. So but we have write it in terms of x, right? So I just write it as like b log mod x because r is nothing but mod x, okay, plus c and b by mod x power n minus 2 plus some constant. Okay, this is n equal to 2 case and this is n greater than or equal to 3 case. Okay, so this I call it as pi of x. Okay. So that's what I got done here. So whatever we did in the board, the same thing is here. So this is V of r, we have done, okay, B log r plus C, okay, etc. So this one, this pi of x, I'm just defining this pi of x. This is called, this is the thing called as fundamental solution of Laplace equation. This is called fundamental solution of Laplace equation. Okay. This is usually called as fundamental solution of Laplace equation. Okay, now not exactly. So this is this b I have to say. Okay, so some different choices of b we can choose. So here what we are going to choose is that we are going to choose a particular. Okay, there are the b and c are constant, right? So we can choose anything. So still we will get the it will be satisfying this equation, etc. But we are going to choose a particular b so that we are going to get that value because. This a b is nothing but this a and I have written, right? That there is something which in terms of n is that. That's the reason I have got a n here. So now what we are going to do is that we are going to choose that a n or a like this. Okay, what I'm going to do is that this fundamental solution of the fundamental solution of Laplace equation. I'm just going to choose in this way. So b I'm just going to choose just minus 1 by 2 pi. Okay, into log of mod x. Okay, log of mod x. So I'm just choosing c equal to 0 and b equal to minus 1 by 2 pi. Okay, just a particular one. Okay, there is many things. So I'm just going to keep. I'm going to say this is the fundamental solution of the equation. If n equal to 2. Okay, and for n equal to 3, what I'm going to do is that this is a ball. Okay, this is a ball of sorry, this is a radial one. Okay, so I'm just going to take the ball in r power n. For that, with the radius r. Okay, what I'm going to do is that I'm just trying to find what is the volume of that ball. Okay, so in that case what you are going to get is that you are going to get something. I'm just going to choose this an as follows. So 1 by I'm just going to choose this an as 1 by n into n minus 2 into alpha n. Okay, that is nothing but my an. Okay, then we have remaining thing that is nothing but mod x power n minus 2 n greater than. Okay. Okay, why we have chosen that? We will come to that. Okay, why this we have chosen that? Because there are some reasons. Like we'll just once you are dealing with some functions, what will get is that you need to deal with some kind of singularity, etc. So at that time you will see that this is going to help us to evaluate that. So at that time we will see. Okay. Okay, so in this one, I'm just actually we are supposed to put pi of mod x, okay, because this is v of r, okay, this is v of r. So we need to put suppose pi of x, but we are abusing the notation, so I'm just writing pi of x. Okay, I'm just omitting that mod x in this case. Okay, we are supposed to write pi of mod x because we obtained it from v of r only, right? So that's the reason. Okay, now some of the observations. So if I just take the derivative, what is t pi? T pi is going to become like So in the case of n equal to 2, this is going to become like 1 minus 1 by 2 pi x. Okay. So some constant, okay, some constant is going to come. So some constant t pi is, if I just take modulus, t pi is less than or equal to c into, okay, some mod x is going to come. For example, in case of n equal to 2. In case of n greater than or equal to 3, what you are going to get? You are going to get something like one term will be less. Okay. So what you are going to get is that you are going to get something like x power n minus 1 is going to come. So therefore, I'm just writing in general x power n minus 1. Okay. In both cases, it will be satisfied because here 1 by x will come, here 1 by x minus n minus 1 will come. Okay, for n greater than or equal to 3. So in both cases, it will be satisfied. Some constant is going to come. This constant is depending on the n. Okay, for different n, different cases will come. Similarly, d square pi of x. Okay, d square pi of x is going to become like d square pi of x is going to be less than or equal to c into mod x here. So once again take the derivative. So this is going to become like some c is this c and this c need not be same. Some different can c here. Okay, so it is not again I am using the notation of this. Okay, so this will be something. So it's c by x power n. Okay, so other observation. This pi is harmonic. Okay, this pi whatever we obtain. Okay, this pi the fundamental solution of the Laplace equation. Okay, so this is fundamental solution of the D. So pi is harmonic. That means what? You might have seen that what is harmonic in the case of complex courses. So del pi equal to 0. Okay, pi is harmonic. So from its construction only you can see. Because how do we construct this pi? We constructed from this V of r. How the V of r is obtained? By solving this del u equal to 0. From solving this equation. That's the reason this pi is harmonic. Okay. Now, actually, how do we obtain this r? We obtain this r by from the origin. Okay, from the origin. For a given x, we just taken the distance. Okay. Now we can shift the origin. If I shift the origin, what I can do is that still the same kind of things is going to happen. Instead of this one, what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to shift the origin. Okay. For example, if I shift this origin over here, I can just put something y over here. Okay. So then I can take this as r for instead of this one as r. Okay. I can take this as r. That means I change my center and I change my the x position to y position, etc. So in that case, once again, what this guarantees that it guarantees that this pi of x minus y, okay, is also harmonic. Okay, is also harmonic. Where the condition is that x is not equal to y. Why this is true? Because if we translate this problem again into this v dash of r problem, again this is going to be dependent on the r only. So that means this is going to be the solution. So if this is the solution, then again this pi of x minus y is going to be the solution. Okay, so provided the condition is x not equal to y. Similarly, here x is not equal to 0 because y x not equal to 0 because log 0 is not defined, and here if it is 0, it is not defined. Okay. Okay. So now okay, so what we have is that we have a different thing. Okay, so the mapping, different mappings we have. So suppose I have a one more thing. Okay, suppose f is a mapping. Okay, f is another mapping. F is another mapping. R power n to r. Okay, this is another function. F is r power n to r. If I multiply that also, okay, if I multiply that with f of y, this is also harmonic. Okay, because it's not depending on x, right? This is depending on y only. Okay, depends on y only, some other point. So in that case, this is also harmonic. X not equal to y, this is also harmonic. At each point, y in r power. So what we have proved? So we have proved pi is a fundamental solution. The pi is this one. Okay, pi is this one. And then we have proved that pi of x minus y, pi is harmonic, which is coming from the construction itself. Okay, and then we have pi of x minus y, that is also harmonic. Okay, so I'll just erase everything. Now, what we are going to do is that pi of what we have proved so far is that pi of x minus y into f of y is harmonic. Okay, where y belongs to some r power n. Okay, y belongs to r power n. Okay, now suppose this y is some arbitrary, right? So y is arbitrary, so pi of x minus y, f of y is harmonic for each y in r power n. Now suppose I take, instead of this, I just take particular pi of x minus yi into f of yi. Will it be harmonic? Will it be harmonic? The pi is defined in the same way, fundamental solution. Will it be harmonic? Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Now, suppose I take some summation. Okay. So I got chosen. I got chosen some y1, y2, etc. yn I got chosen. Now I put the summation. Summation I equal to 1 to m phi of xi minus yi into f of y. Will it be harmonic? Will it be harmonic?
No.
Yes or no? Finite sum only, right? See, each phi of xi minus yi into f of y is harmonic. I am taking only finite sum, so that is also going to become like a harmonic. Okay, we are trying to build in the same way what we did in the case of the variation separation variable, right? So in that case, we have taken one solution for n, then we have summed it lambda, depending on the lambda, we have summed it, right? Same kind of things we are doing here. Okay, phi of x minus y into f of y. So this is also harmonic. Now, if m tends to infinity, I just leave this an exercise. If m tends to infinity, will it be harmonic or not? Okay, that's a question. Okay, just think of it. So 4 solves 1. Okay, this 4 is nothing but the summation I'm just taking. That is also common. Okay, so if m tends to infinity, will it be harmonic? That I leave as an exercise. Now this y belongs to R power n is arbitrary, right? So instead of if y belongs to R power n is arbitrary, in the place of some article, right? Can we write integral? Can we write integral in the place of this is nothing but I am
Yes, sir.
m of x. Okay. Instead, if y belongs to R power n is arbitrary, I can just write u of x is nothing but integral R power n. Okay, pi of x minus y into f of y into dy.
F of y.
Okay. Will it be harmonic?
Yes, sir.
Are you sure? Don't be requires for m equal m tends to infinity also you require some conditions, either convergence etc. is required. Okay, now I'm just taking arbitrary, means I'm just taking a integration over r power n. Okay, not even finite, this is r power n I'm taking. The answer is no. The answer is no. Okay,
Yes, sir.
the answer is no. We cannot compute straight away that del ux equal to, so if I just substitute del ux equal to, and then substitute this one del of pi of x minus y into f of y dy equal to 0. So this is not going to work. Okay, this is not going to work. Why? Why? Because see, y belongs to R power n is arbitrary, right? At some stage, we will get some x equal to yi will come. Okay, so if you just see the definition of pi, if you see the definition of pi, it is defined at x not equal to y only, right? It is defined only at x not equal to y. If x equal to y, what will happen? This is log of x, log of 0 will come, that is not defined, and n greater than or equal to 3, denominator is there, so that is not going to be defined. So in that case, you are going to get some trouble. Okay, now what we are going to do is that we have to do some work around to get rid of this one. Okay, we need to isolate that singularity. We need to isolate that singularity where it is coming, and then we have to do that, because this is not summable near the singularity at y equal to x. So near the singularity y equal to x, what you are going to get is that you are going to get infinite. It is going to be like a divergence is going to come. That's the reason you should be careful once you are answering for m tends to infinity here. Okay, so depending on your y only you can get the answer. So y equal to x. So for y equal to x, you are going to get some kind of singularity over here. So you should be very careful while doing this integration. Okay. So this is actually called as kernel. We call it as kernel. So if you see, as I told yesterday, you can check with Surya and Divya. They are looking in this topic of kernel. Okay. So this is almost like the definition which we did for the kernel. Okay. So that's the setup. Okay. Fine. So now what we are going to do is that we are trying to get rid of this one. So what I will do is that I'm just going to get rid of the singularity. How I'm going to get rid of singularity? I'm just going to take a ball. Okay, I'm just going to take a r power n ball. Okay, r power n ball. Now what I'm going to do is that this is, suppose my singularity is sitting over here. Then what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to construct a epsilon ball, and then remove the singularity from that somehow. Okay, that's the aim of me to prove that this is also going to give me some kind of solution, except that singularity test. That's the next theorem which we are going to do. So this, if you imagine that what we are trying to do is that you just imagine this is like an avocado or an apple, where if you just cut it and open, you can see that a small hole will be there, like a small seed will be there. So that ball, okay, this ball is nothing but a small seed in the avocado fruit or the apple fruit. Okay, the seed is there. So that we are trying to remove it. So if I just remove it, then what I will get is that I will just get a very small place over there. So this point will be somehow removed, and then I will just try to prove that this is going to be 0 or this is going to be f of x or the Poisson equation proving, and then we can prove it. So that is my next proof. Okay, I'm just going to remove this seed out of that, the epsilon seed out. Okay, now what we are going to do is that for the rest of the lectures, I'm just going to assume that f belongs to cc of, okay, cc square of r power n. Okay, what does it mean? So it is twice continuously differentiable and it has a compact support. So if it is having compact support means what does it mean? So for example, if you take this one, okay, so if you take this one, this is going to be 0 here, this is going to be 0 here. So I just take this is a comma b. Okay, so in this place I have a compact support, means this in this place it is differentiable and everything is there, whereas outside this place and then I'm just defining this going to be 0. Okay, means this function is going to be compact support, twice continuously differentiable, and then it is going to be compact support. Okay, that is the meaning of this one. Fine. Now we are going to prove this one. Okay, we are going to prove. So if f belongs to cc square of r power n, what we are trying to prove is that the pi of x or the u of x which we defined in the previous slides, okay, that is going to satisfy these conditions. U is going to belongs to c square r power n, means u is twice differentiable, and one more condition is that minus del u equal to f. Okay, these two are going to be satisfied. So that's what we are going to do in the next few minutes. Fine. Let's prove that. So u of x is as it is. Okay, whatever we define, the same thing. U of x is okay. So the property of this kernel is that what you can do is that you can just substitute that. Okay, if you substitute some t is equal to x minus y, then what you can prove is that y equal to x minus t, you can prove it. Okay, so this can be written as, and dt is also going to be like dx is going to come, or dy is going minus dy is going to come. So what I can do is that I can just replace this one as, okay, I'm just going to replace this one as, sorry, dt is going to be minus dy. Okay, dt is going to be minus dy. So what I am going to prove is that I'm just going to prove this one as, I'm just going to again substitute this one. What I'm going to get here, I'm going to get pi of y into f of x minus y into dy. These two are same. Okay, so I can just interchange the variable. So y belongs to x minus t. So this is going to be integral whole power r power n. So even if there is a minus sign comes, that you can accommodate over here. So you are going to get pi of y into f of x minus y into d. Both are same. Okay, this is one of the properties of the kernel, or this is also called as convolution. We call it as convolution. So many of the mechanical engineers, electrical engineers, they use this concept called convolution. Okay, yes. So the convolution they will be using this one. Okay, this is one of the important application. Okay, now what we are trying to prove is that we are trying to prove u belongs to the first condition we are trying to prove. So we are trying to prove that u belongs to c square of r power n. That's the so for that, first I got to take the derivative of this one. So I'm just finding what is u of x I minus u of x. Okay, divided by h, where h is not equal to 0. Then this is going to be r power n pi of y. Okay, and x is sitting over here, so I can write it as f of x plus HEI minus y minus f of x minus y divided by h. Okay, into d. Okay. So now f is, we already mentioned that f is belongs to cc square of r power n. Okay, cc square r power n. So near to that point, cc square of r power n. So that means what I'm going to do is that I'm just going to construct a small ball. In that place it may not be there. So this is going to give me, since f belongs to cc square of r power n, what I can prove is that this is going to be differentiable. Okay, f is belongs to c square of r power n, therefore this is going to be differentiable. So what I can prove is from this one, what I'm going to claim is that since it is under cc, so compact support, right? If it is if a function is continuous and defined on a compact set, what is it? Will it be uniformly continuous?
Uniformly continuous, sir.
Yeah. So this is going to converge also uniformly. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Uniformly converging to that dou f by dou xi. So if I just put that, this is going to converge to dou f by dou xi of x
Dou.
minus 1.
Yes.
Fine. So if I just allow this side h tends to 0, the same thing I am allowing h tends to 0 that side, and same thing here. So this is going to be dou e by dou xi. Okay, dou e by dou xi of x. It's nothing but summation r power n pi of y into dou f by dou xi into x minus 1. Same time, same thing, repeat that again. This same concept, you repeat it again. F belongs to c square of r power n. This is means this first time continuous. Sorry, first time one time differentiable and then continuous. Okay, so this is square. Therefore, this is again differentiable. You can apply the same logic whatever we did that. Okay, instead of u of x plus I y, you just take it as some b and then you plugging over here the same concept you do. What it will get is that you will get the here dou square by dou xi into dou xj also will get it. Okay, here xj will come, dou xj will come. Okay, same thing will come. Since this is f belongs to c square of r power n, means continuously twice continuously differentiable. Therefore, this is going to be valid, and this pi is already you can just get it from that pi. Okay, the pi is going to be twice differentiable. Therefore, u belongs to c square of r power n, because this is going to exist and it is going to be continuous. That's it. Okay. Any doubts on this one?
No, sir.
Okay. Now let's go back. Let's revisit some of the Lebesgue theory. Okay, some of the Lebesgue theory. So Lebesgue theory, what we have is that I hope you know. Like, okay. In Lebesgue theory, I hope you remember these things. LP of omega x. So I hope this LP of omega concept for you. So what we are trying to prove is that we are trying to prove we are going to use this one. Okay, we are going to use this one for proving the theorem. What is LP of omega? Do you know this one LP of omega? Have you studied this one in analysis course?
No, sir.
Okay. Even if you don't study, no problem. But you got studied Lebesgue method, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what we are going to say is that if f is Lebesgue miserable, when do you say f is Lebesgue miserable? When do you say a function is Lebesgue miserable? When do you say a function is Lebesgue miserable? Any idea?
So,
Lebesgue miserable.
yes, sir. When we will calculate the step
If it is Lebesgue
simple
integrable.
functions.
Okay. Yeah. So if it is Lebesgue integrable, so what is the meaning of Lebesgue integrable then? When do you say it is Lebesgue integrable?
Outer measure of that function and inner measure of that function should be equal.
Okay, exactly. Okay, so that's the idea of the Lebesgue miserable. Now, what we are going to do is that we are going to collect all functions. Okay, this LP of omega. Okay, this is one of the advanced concept for you. Once you are going for the PhD, this will be your beginning topic for the partial differentiation. First, you need to know what is the LP of omega. Okay, so the LP of omega is nothing but set of all f from so omega 2 r omega 2 are such that f is Lebesgue miserable. Okay, f is Lebesgue miserable, and then what you have is that LP of the norm, we define it as norm. Okay, norm of LP of omega is less than infinity. This is you don't need to worry about this one much. So this is something like you have studied this space, this L1 space, L0 space, L1 space, L2 space.
Yes, sir.
There, what do you do? In L1 space, what do you do? you take the summation xi, and then if this is less than infinity,
Less
and
than
similarly
infinity.
L2 you will just take xi square
X
whole power
square.
1 by 2, okay, less
1
than
by 2.
infinity. So the same kind of things we are going to. So in the place of summation, what we are going to replace here, we are going to replace it by integral, because this is a measurable function. Okay, so in the place of xi square, here we are putting summation because this is a tuples you will be taking, x1 x2 x1 r power n tuples you will be taking, or a series you will be taking, and then you will do that. Okay, you will take a infinite number of elements you will be taking, and then you will take the summation, and then you will see whether this is going to be there. Okay, that is L1, L2, L3 you will be taking. Whereas here you are going to take, in the place of summation, you are going to take the integration. That's all. Nothing much difference. Okay, only the concept will be a little bit different. So since you are going to deal with integration, the underlying concept will be a little bit different. So here, whatever you are dealing with series, there you will be dealing with summation, integration. Almost there is a relation between the summation and integration, right? So you take the partition, and then you will just check whether that sum is going to be there or not. So that is the relation between the integration and this one, right? So same thing we are going to do here. Okay. So this is Lebesgue measurable. So if what is this? What is this one? Okay. So you will study maybe in the function analysis course later, maybe in the next semester. We will study the norms. Okay. What is norm of x? What is norm of y? Etc. Will be studying. So in that case, you will see like these spaces, LP spaces will be studied. So one such space is called LP space. This is also kind of space relevant to that. Okay, this is the series one. It will come here. This will be a integrable things will come. So this is called
Functions.
okay, functions. Here you are going to use functions. So what is the norm? Okay, the norm is nothing but LP of omega is nothing but you are going to do the instead of summation. Here you are going to do the integration. The integration is omega f power p. Okay. Whole power 1 by. So here you can put the I'm just going to give dx. So in general, we can put the suppose f is Lebesgue measurable with respect to some measure mu. Okay, then you can put some mu also here. Okay, d mu also there. Okay, and we are sitting at the r power. This omega is subset of r power n, so I'm just keeping it as dx only. So this is called Lebesgue measurable. Similarly, this is for LP. Here also it will define something like L infinity. In L infinity, what will take is that you take the maximum of the xi. In case of it is r power n, you will take the maximum. If it is r power n, sorry, if it is an infinite space, what you will take is you will take something differently. Like supremum you will take. Same thing here. I'm just going to define something called L infinity of omega. So L infinity of omega, same kind of setup. Only this one is going to change. Okay, there I'm just going to define the norm differently. That is L infinity of omega is less than infinity. So now what is L infinity of omega? L infinity of omega is nothing but supremum, or we usually call it as essential supremum. Okay, essential supremum of f. Okay, this is called the L infinity of omega. Means I'm just taking the supremum over omega of this f. That is called the L infinity omega definition. Fine. So this is the one which you are going to do. Okay. So you remember this one. You don't need to remember this LP at least now. But we need the L infinity of omega because we are going to take the supremum out. So this one you need to remember. Okay. So L infinity of omega. Fine. So this is the one which we are going to use it for proving the rest of the things. So we got what we are trying to do is that we have a difficulty of pi of x, where the difficulty is that x equal to y. Okay, if I put pi of x minus y or pi of x, okay, that the difficulty is that I have a difficulty on removing the singularity. At x equal to y, I have a singularity. So that I am trying to use because in the pi of x there is a denominator term that I have a singularity. Okay, at x equal to y. Or if I put pi of x at x equal to 0, I have a singularity. Okay, at x equal to 0, I have a singularity. That I am trying to remove it. Okay, so what we are trying to do is that we are trying to remove that singularity. What I am going to do is that, for example, for pi of y, what I am going to do is that I have a bar. Okay, I have a bar. So for that bar, what I am going to do is that I am just going to remove the seed inside it. Okay, the seed means like assume that you have avogada. There will be a small seed, okay, or a big seed, or take an apple where you are going to. So that I just called as, okay, this small one, okay, I just called as b of 0 comma epsilon. Okay, b of 0 comma epsilon. Now what is the, so I'm just trying to remove the singularity, right? What is the, so for this ball, what is the normal? The normal is going to be this way, invert direction, because we are trying to remove it from that. The singularity is on the other side. We are trying to remove that. So we are trying to take the invert normal only for this one. Okay. So once again, we are going to use the preliminaries which we use for the wave equation, and then we are trying to. Okay, we are considering a small ball. Now what we are going to do is that del u x. Okay, del u of x is nothing but integral. Okay, integral b of 0 comma omega, sorry, epsilon, b of 0 comma epsilon, del x pi y into f of x minus 1. I'm just substituting this one. Del, I'm just bringing it over here because all other things we have to. U belongs to C square and n etc. we have to, and this compact everything we have to. So this I can bring it inside. Okay, continuously differential etc. is there. So you can use the Frobenius theorem etc. and then you can bring it inside. So here I'm just denoting x here because I just want to identify that this is with respect to x instead of with respect to y. There are two variables. I'm just mentioning del x of, okay, del x of this one. Okay, so now what is that? If I just write this two terms. One is inside the form. One is this small one, d of 0 comma epsilon. Another is remaining part also I have to, because I have to do for entire r power n, right? So for entire r power n, I'm just going to do r power n minus d of 0 comma epsilon. Okay, same thing. So pi of y into del x f of x minus 1. So I just put this one. This is going to be coming. I'm just going to put this only for this one because here I don't have any problem. Only here I have some problem. That's the reason I'm just going to keep it here, and the remaining thing I can just put it over here. Okay, pi of y. Okay. So now what we are trying to prove is that this I called as I epsilon. Okay, this is called as I epsilon, and this is called as j epsilon. Now I am trying to prove that this I epsilon is less than or equal to something. This I epsilon, okay, so this is nothing but I epsilon. So if we integral f g is less than or equal to integral f into integral g, is it true? And what condition? Is it true for Lebesgue measurable? Have you seen this one? Okay. Even you don't, even if you don't see, no problem. What we guys said, see if g is there, right? What I'm going to do is that, see, take the, this is for each point I'm going to take, right? So just take the maximum of this one. Okay. For example, take the maximum of this one. Therefore, this is going to be a constant, right? If I just take this one, I take only the maximum of this one. Therefore, this is going to be a constant. So I can just take it as out, okay, the maximum. So if it is maximum, what we call it as a norm, okay, the maximum norm. L infinity norm without defined, right? That is nothing but the maximum norm or essential supremum norm without defined. So that I am going to take it up. Okay, this is nothing but infinity norm I can say. Into g I can write. So same thing I am going to write here. Okay, here what I am going to write is that this is I epsilon is going to become like I'm just going to operate on the both the things. So I'm just going to define, okay, I'm just going to define this one over here. This is del x means d square, right? So d square now is going to be there.
Yes, sir.
So some constant into d square f. This is with respect to L infinity of omega, because the same constant whatever I'm using here. I'm taking the supremum outside, so this is going to be something constant. So that's the right way into integral pi of y into d. Okay, into integral pi of y d. I'm just going to take that del outside. So now what is it? What we need to do is that what is the, so this is b of 0 comma epsilon. We got to find what is integral b of 0 comma epsilon pi of y dy. Okay, pi dy. That we got to find. So let's go back. Let's go back to our pi definition so that we can find. Okay, so our pi definition is that this is our pi definition, right? Minus 1 by 2 pi log x and n into n minus 2 alpha n x power n minus 2. Now, if I'm just defining this integration on this one on the p of 0 comma epsilon, okay, then what is it going to give me? It is going to give me the dy is going to give me this pi is going to be, I'm just going to take it out again, some constant I'm going to take. So only integral will be remaining. What is that integral is going to give you for this pi? Okay, so if I just put that mod x power minus 2 etc., what you are going to get is that you need the radius of this, volume of this bond, volume of b of 0 comma epsilon. Okay, volume of b of 0 comma epsilon you need to get. So that is going to become like c into epsilon square into log epsilon is going to come. So what is pi? Pi is going to be minus 1 by 2 pi into log mod x, that is for n equal to 2, and 1 by n into n minus 2 into alpha n into 1 by x power n minus 2. This is pi of x. Now if you substitute that for p of 0 comma epsilon, okay, so you need integral dy is there. So in that case, you are going to get some log epsilon is going to come. Okay, here log epsilon is going to come. Then you need to multiply this with some volume. In n equal to 2 case, the volume is nothing but pi r square. Okay, so here it is going to become like pi epsilon square is going to come. Okay, pi epsilon square is going to come. So I will get something like epsilon square will come. Okay, epsilon square will come. Some constant is going to come, minus c 1 by 2 will be there. So I'm just going to denote as c epsilon square, and then I'm going to get something like log of epsilon. Okay, because this is 0 comma epsilon 1, so this is going to give you the log mod epsilon. The second case, you will get some constant. Okay, so that it is going to be c epsilon square. That's all, because this will get cancelled. So you will get something like pi n minus 2 is going to come. The volume which you are putting, pi n minus 1 is going to come. And if you integrate that, what you are going to get is that you are going to get epsilon power n will come. Here epsilon power n will come. So epsilon power n minus 2 is here. So both are here. So in the case of this one, some alpha n into, okay, alpha n is nothing but the volume into epsilon power n is going to come. If you just integrate this one with the volume integral. So this n minus 2 will get cancelled. N minus 2 will get cancelled. So you are going to get n square. See epsilon square. Okay. So therefore, what you are going to get is that you are going to get that this is nothing but I epsilon is going to be less than or equal to, okay, c into epsilon square log epsilon, okay, for n equal to 2, and c epsilon square for n greater than equal to 2. Okay, so this is the one. Fine. Now again we revisit that. Okay, some preliminaries which we have discussed earlier, because we did it only for I epsilon. Still one more is remaining. J epsilon is remaining. That we got. Okay, I epsilon we got done. Now J epsilon we got. So J epsilon I'm just going to rewrite again. Okay, J epsilon I'm just going to rewrite again using the integration by parts. Okay, I'm going to use the integration by parts. That means I'll just throw one of the derivative over here and then I will do it. Okay, that's what I'm going to do. So using the integration by parts. So J epsilon is nothing but pi of y into del x f of x minus y dy. Okay, I'm going to use the integration by parts. So that is going to become like, I'm just going to get throw the derivative, one derivative over here. So what you are going to get? You are going to get minus t pi of y. Okay, t pi of y into, this is going to be only this variable is going to be there. So that I'm just going to denote as del y of x minus 1. Okay, because I'm just throwing one derivative over here. Okay, plus extra term will be there. So the extra term is that we have something like the normal derivative will come. So here the normal derivative is going to be inside. Okay, because we are removing the part, so the normal derivative is going to be inside. So in that case, dou b of 0 comma epsilon, because you are going to remove this one. So the boundary is this one, but it is going to space inside that part. Okay, not outside the part. Dou b of 0 comma epsilon pi of y into dou f by dou nu into x minus 1 to d of s y. The surface integral. Okay, because this is going to be one dimension less. Therefore, d of s y, not dy. If I put dy, this is a volume integral. If I put d of s y, this is surface integral. Okay, so now again we need to split this into two terms. Okay, one is called k epsilon. I just call it as this one. I call it as k epsilon, and this I call it as k epsilon. Okay, So now for k epsilon, what we have is that for L epsilon, we'll finish that. For L epsilon, once again, what I can take is that I can just take the dou f by dou omega x minus y. I can take it out because this is belonging to c square r power n. So I can just take this out. Okay, if I take this out, what I will get is that I'll get only pi of y. Okay, so for that, once again, I use the same kind of settings. Okay, take the supremum and then do that. What you will get is that you will get a similar thing. L epsilon is less than or equal to c into epsilon into log epsilon. Okay, c into epsilon into log epsilon. Similarly, this is going to become like c epsilon. Same kind of setup here. One dimension less. So there it was pi r square was multiplying. Here we are just multiplying only the pi epsilon because this is we have 0 comma epsilon. If it is y, it is n dimensional. If it is dou b, this is 1 dimension less, n minus 1 dimension. Therefore, this is going to become like instead of pi r square, we are going to get some pi epsilon. Okay, 2 pi r only will come here. Here it is going to be 1 dimension less, so you will get instead of n minus 2, you will get n minus 1 here. Alpha n into n minus 5, etc. So constant into n minus 1 is going to happen because this is defined as dou b of 0 comma epsilon. Fine. So now only one more thing is remaining. This is called k epsilon. If I did that, then that is we are almost done. So for k epsilon, once again, what we are going to do is that we are going to apply for k epsilon. Once again, you use the integration by parts. Okay, if you use the integration by parts, then this del y will come over here. Okay, this is going to become like del pi y. Okay, del pi y into f of x minus 1. Okay, this I am just throwing it over here. F of x minus y plus extra term is going to come. The extra term is nothing but this is minus is already there, this will become plus and then minus integral dou b of 0 comma epsilon, and then we have dou pi by dou y. Okay, dou pi by dou nu normal derivative into f of x minus y dy is going to come.
Ds.
Okay, now what is del pi? What is del pi? This is defined on this place r power n minus b of 0 comma epsilon. What is del pi? Del pi is nothing but pi is this one, which is harmonic, means del pi is 0. Okay, I am defining outside this bar only. This is r power n minus b of 0 comma epsilon only. So in that bar, outside this bar, my see all these troubles are coming because of that similarity only, right? Otherwise, from here itself we can complete that. Okay, because of the similarity only, we are not getting this equal to 0. Okay, this will not come. Okay, so we cannot compute this directly because of that singularity only we are getting that. So we remove that singularity now. Okay, so apart from that singularity there is no issue. Now this integral is apart from that singularity. Okay, b of 0 comma epsilon is removing that singularity. So at that case del pi is not having any problem. So therefore this is going to become 0. So this is going to become 0 because pi is harmonic in the region r minus b of 0 comma epsilon. So I just left with only one term, so which is nothing but minus dou b of 0 comma epsilon into dou pi by dou nu into f of x minus 1 into dy.
Sir, we have class.
Epsilon is minus dou pi by y into dou nu into f of x minus y into dsy, dou b of epsilon. So since pi is harmonic, the first term becomes 0. Okay. Now what we need is we need to evaluate only this integral. So here what we need to find is that we need to find dou pi by dou nu. Okay, means the normal derivative we got find. So the normal derivative which we can write it as this way. So nu into t pi y. So therefore I need to find what is my t pi y and what is my nu. So what is t pi y? T pi y is nothing but, so we know the pi y. So pi y is nothing but I have we have already calculated. Okay, see we have already said that c by mod x power n will come. So if you calculate directly from that, what you will get is that n minus 1 will come. So that is going to get cancelled. So you are going to get n into alpha n into y by mod y power n is going to come. So this is going to become like, so this is the one. Now nu is nothing but you have the y vector and you are taking the normal derivative. Okay, so the normal vector you are going to take. So the normal vector you are going to take this one as mod y. So that is going to give you the, this is going to give you the new value minus mod y divided by epsilon.
So now if I multiply these two, what you are going to get is that you are going to get y power n minus 1 is going to get cancelled. So you are going to get something like 1 by n into alpha n into epsilon power n minus 1 is going to come. So now let me see. Yeah. Yeah, so what you are going to get is that you are going to get minus y into minus mod y etc. is going to come. So if you just take the new dot dy, what you are going to get is that you are going to get these two will get cancelled. Okay, y power n minus 1 is going to come. So you are going to get 1 by n alpha n. Okay, 1 by n alpha n into epsilon y power mod y power n minus 1 is going to come, because this y is going to get cancelled. Okay, so here there is a minus y by sorry, there is no minus y here, there is no modulus here. This would be minus y by epsilon. Okay, only epsilon I am changing, so minus y by epsilon. Now there is no modulus here. So what you are going to get is that you are going to substitute over here. So you are going to get 1 by n alpha n into epsilon power n minus 1. Now if you substitute over here, so you can take this out, n alpha n epsilon power n minus 1. So what you are going to get is that minus 1 integral dou b of x comma epsilon f of y d of sy. So this is nothing but the average integral, which we have already discussed. Now if epsilon tends to 0, what you are going to get is that this is going to become like minus f of x. So the overall thing, if you just combine all the things, what you are going to get is that minus del ux is going to become like f of x as epsilon tends to 0. That is the proof. Now one more remark. So for a few problems, what we need to solve is that we don't need to solve del u equal to f. So we need to solve something like a Dirac method. We will be solving. So where delta naught is nothing but the Dirac method, means at the peak it is going to give you the one unit mass. Okay, 1. Remaining place it is going to be 0. Okay, that is nothing but Dirac method. So in that case, what you can substitute is that this del ux, whatever you have done earlier. So you are substituting that. Okay, you are just putting it over here, minus del pi x minus y. It is going to become like, this is going to be del naught. We are substituting x minus y, therefore it is going to be del x into f y. So then if you just integrate this one, this is